Humour.
Hello, I'm Phil Wang. I was good to be back. Last time I was here, I hosted, so I guess that went well.
News for you. I'm Professor Hannah Fry. In the news this week, as he plumbs the depths of reality TV, Matt Hancock's triumph on Celebrity Does My Head Fit In There proves to be a hollow victory. As the daily regime of exercise begins, there are complaints of cruelty at Battersea Dogs Home. And as Taylor Swift announces new dates at Wembley, there's already high demand for tickets. On Ian's team tonight is a comedian and, amazingly, another mathematician. Really? He doesn't half look like one. Please welcome Phil Wang. On Paul's team tonight is a presenter whose TV career began with the phrase, "I'll take one from the top, two from the middle and two from the bottom." It's like Keir Starmer picking out free shoes. Please welcome Carol Vorderman. OK, we're going to begin with the bigger news stories of this week. Ian and Phil, have a little look at this.
Right, that's a frozen cabinet. A few pensioners in there.
Live footage from the Treasury.
Yeah, there's nothing left. Oh, it's a machine.
It's Labour's new Chief of Staff.
Well, this is the budget.
It is the budget.
We're still waiting for it.
Yes, we are.
Right, there we go. Next. Oh, you want some speculation?
Go on.
Well, I reckon there's going to be a tax increase.
They have got this quite big black hole to fill, and a black hole that's got bigger. Do you know how big it is now?
It's now 40 billion.
It is.
It was 22 billion,
Absolutely.
which is a percentage rise of...
Well, almost double.
Wow. She still got it.
You're absolutely right, though. But the government have leaked a lot of scare stories about how they're going to raise another 22 billion. What is the latest tax rise that they've refused to rule out?
The employers' national insurance rise.
Yes.
And they've said, look, it looks in the manifesto as though we said we won't raise national insurance, but it turns out we said we won't increase employees' national insurance, but we will increase employers. So the difference of a single letter means they weren't lying.
But you said your difference of one letter, you know, that's the difference between uniformed police officers and uninformed police officers. Different. One letter.
OK, what were the government pinning their hopes on to inject more money into the economy this week?
They found a new way of defining what debt is. And it's brilliant, because it actually means that you don't owe what you think.
Not the answer I wanted.
Oh, sorry.
Different answer.
Not the non-doms.
Not the non-doms. The private investment summit. That was the...
Oh, yes.
Look,
yes.
I want the answer I've got down on the card.
Yeah.
OK?
Yeah, OK. Professor.
Thank you.
You think you might get a little latitude round the answer? Oh, no.
You're thinking of geography there. Different subject altogether.
Yes. Labour hosted a big investment summit at the Guildhall in London this week.
Yes, and they got lots of investors in, including P&O.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Which is a bit embarrassing.
Why so?
Well, because when they were in opposition, they said P&O are a disgrace, and they sack hundreds of workers and then rehire people on agency fees, and they're abominable. But now they're in government, they've said, hello!
Also, Keir wants a free cruise. Let's go to the Bahamas, baby!
To be specific, this was Transport Secretary Louise Haigh,
Yes.
who described P&O Ferries as a cowboy operator and a rogue outfit.
Yeah, because they've got a terrible employment record.
In 2022, they sacked 800 workers by text message and video link, and then immediately rehired cheaper replacements from abroad.
So, Phil, take over. Come on.
Do you know what the government did to try and woo the investors at this?
Free biscuits.
Michelin star meal.
I mean, you're close. They did try and woo them with some quite delicious delicacies. They served amazing English food, apparently.
Was it Greg's?
Still on Labour then.
Yeah, but they did have Elton John.
They did have Elton John.
He sang Candle in the Wind about Liz Truss. It was very moving.
What is Health Secretary Wes Streeting's radical plan to save the NHS?
He's going to give people Ozempic jabs or, weight loss drugs to get them back to work.
Yeah.
So, Wes Streeting is trying to fight inflation too.
The theory is everyone is overweight in the entire country. So you give everyone this jab, they become slim, they go to work, growth, productivity, we become the richest nation on earth, and thin. What could go wrong?
You know, they're advertising Ozempic in the States now quite heavily. Do you know what classic British pop song they're using to advertise it?
Oh, I'm too sexy for myself. Is it?
No.
OK, give us a clue.
All right, I'll tell you what, I'll play you the clip. Ready?
OK, yeah.
Looking to get back in your type 2 diabetes zone? Once weekly Ozempic can help.
Did that ad say, are you trying to get back into type 2 diabetes? Is that the state of the health of Americans? Are they trying to get back to diabetes?
Yeah, that's an improvement.
What has Labour MP Patrick Hurley begun a campaign for?
It's Freddo's.
It's Freddo's.
Freddo's.
It's Freddo's.
They've been getting smaller and smaller.
They absolutely have.
Is he saying, make Freddo's big again?
What are they?
What are they?
As the packet illustrates, they're frogs covered in chocolate.
We had Frodo's, they were Tolkien-themed.
It's all about to reduce the price rather than make them bigger. According to the Eye, the Freddo has been used informally as a measure of inflation. But did you see that Donald Trump has been using a similar economic model?
Tic-tac. Oh, dear. Yes.
Let's have a look at this.
This is Tic Tacs, right? I don't know if I like the company. I've never met. I have no idea. They're so lucky. Look at all the television. This is the greatest commercial they ever had. But that's what happened. This is inflation. This is Tic Tac. This is Tic Tac. This is inflation.
Do you do your lectures like that, your maths lectures?
Of course I do.
A Freddo.
Big, small. Yeah.
Do you reckon his advisors said you need to do more on TikTok?
This is the budget and the probability that a manifesto promise will be broken. Talking about the money Rachel Reeves hopes to raise with the budget, the Institute for Fiscal Studies said 40 billion is a big number. Not to us, eh, Carol? Wes Streeting this week outlined a stark future for the NHS, reform or die. Reform or die, also the choice currently facing disillusioned Tories. OK, Paul and Carol, you have a look at this.
Yes. Oh, this is the World
Conquer
Championship, Conquer Championships, isn't it? Yes. There is now the world champion.
Yeah.
Controversial. It's all gone bonkers with the conkers. There is a ridiculous piece of visual imagery. So it's a big, big conquer story.
It is a big conquer story.
It is a bit of...
And he had a steel conker in his pocket.
Still conquering.
And
Still
it was
conquering your
painted.
pocket. Yeah.
I'll just show you a picture of him. Here he is, David Jenkins. Do you know what his nickname is?
David the Cheat Jenkins. No, he's not called
King
that.
Conker.
King
Conker.
Conker. Exactly right.
Some people say they've accused him of having a steel conker. Conker made of metal.
Yeah.
Robo conker.
Yeah. Why would you have a steel conker in your pocket?
Yeah, exactly. Unless you were going out on a date later on.
We should point out, though, that King Conker does deny all of these allegations.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So does Baroness Moan.
Do you have any idea how The Sun put it in their headline?
I used the word bonkers earlier. Does that crop up?
It is Conker Plonker, use steel nut to conquer. What was King Conker's defence for having a metal conker?
Luck. It was for luck. He had no intention of using it. He found it. It fell off a steel tree.
Didn't he say he wanted to show it to kids?
Yeah, he told BBC News that he had it in his pocket to amuse children, which, of course, led to a different kind of investigation.
I was, I don't want to brag,
Don't brag, no.
but 1969.
That's not a brag.
No. 1969.
Yeah.
Two great things happened. Man landed on the moon
Yeah.
first time, and I became the junior conker champion in Rill.
Oh.
Wow.
What's your conker tips, Carol?
Conker tips: 2 minutes vinegar, 2 minutes in the oven, low heat.
Isn't human urine meant to be quite good?
For what?
For making the...
For emptying the
As an
bladder.
aperitif.
Yeah.
There is some advice for finding a good conker using a farmyard animal. Anyone want to guess what that is?
A pig?
It is a pig. Do you know what you do with it?
Like a truffling pig.
Yeah.
In The Guardian, my godfather won the championships twice, a conker champion said, and he used to say that the best conker was one that had been passed through a pig.
Was that on a long piece of string?
Otherwise, he's going to chew it up.
Well, it depends which end you start with, doesn't it?
I stand corrected.
Yeah, indeed. You should see how the pig stands.
This is the cheating scandal that's threatening to destroy the good reputation of the World Conker Championships. The women's competition was won by an American, Kelsey Bornshabach, which coincidentally is the closest Joe Biden has come to saying Kemi Badenoch. Here is another one of the competitors at this year's World Conker Championships, and he'll be back on the news on January the 6th, storming the capital if Trump loses again. And so, to round two, the Venn diagram of news.
Hey, excellent.
OK, fingers on buzzer, teams. Here is your first one.
We know this, don't we?
You do, I don't.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the space shuttle, but it was the Starship.
Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket program.
Did you cry when it came back in? So the heavy rocket booster came up, and you're watching on the screen, like, the Starship itself going off and
Yes.
accelerating,
Yeah.
like, to 17,000 miles an hour.
Yes.
And at the same time,
Yes.
you're watching the heavy booster come back down to Earth.
No.
And it's got these mechanical arms,
this
they're
is too
called
much.
chopsticks, and they go like that, and they go like
Chopsticks?
that. Woof. And there it is,
Yes.
back where it took off.
So it was a total waste of time then?
It was actually quite remarkable. Have a look at this.
Oh, mate.
On the subject of things falling perfectly in place, would you like to see a video of a very lucky woman in India?
Yes.
Oh.
Should just tell you that everyone was fine, OK?
OK. Is she actually inside that?
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot more impressive than Elon Musk.
Has the man come out and said, I think it's come from up there?
What was the point of the Musk thing?
It's basically a big recycling project, essentially. So they can reuse these rocket boosters, not just have them fall into the sea, which hopefully will make up for the 700,000 gallons of fuel a second that they have to burn to get up there in the first place.
Yeah.
I used to have a car like that. I wish Elon Musk would invent a rocket that could get his head out of Donald Trump's ass. I think we should be working on that, mate.
Fingers on buzzer, teams.
Yes, at a recent rally, Trump, instead of talking, he danced and played music for about 40 minutes straight. And people were not disappointed, actually.
Let's have a little look.
There are times when you think artificial intelligence might be better.
Yeah.
He dances like a Conservative member of Parliament, I would say.
Do spare a thought for the poor guy standing behind him.
He's gone grey during this performance.
Also, he said on Wednesday, I think it was, in front of a room full of women, audience of women, he said, "I am the father of IVF."
What?
Which nobody quite knows what he meant by that.
He literally said this week, political opponents
Yes.
of his should be dealt with by the military.
Yes,
And their opponents including Democrats. That's the other party.
yes,
All opposition, come the election, should be locked up.
yes.
And everyone goes, "Oh, Donald, you're so funny."
He told his supporters the other day that they should all come out and vote on January the 5th.
Yeah.
Which would be a good idea, because that's 2 months after the actual date.
This week, Donald Trump also gave an explanation for his rambling style of speaking. Have a look at this.
You know, I do a thing called a weave. And there are those that are fair that say, this guy is so genius. And then others would say, oh, he rambled. I don't ramble. If I start a story, what you do is you weave things and you do it.
Wow, a weave. I thought that was what he was wearing on top.
Despite all of this, Trump does appear to be making gains in the polls. What controversy has Kamala Harris found herself in this week?
It's about a speech of hers contained material from Martin Luther King. It was about a toddler saying, "What would you like most?" And she says, "Freedom." And it was the same anecdote.
Exactly right. She's been accused of plagiarising.
Oh, dear.
She remembered an incident which other people have remembered before.
Is that her version of I Have a Dream?
Yeah.
I remembered an incident. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it?
In other international news, what is the US government's latest declaration regarding the conflict in the Middle East?
It's finally said, "Can you stop doing this to Israel?" And it's been saying it half-heartedly for about a year.
Yeah.
And saying, "You've got to stop that now or we'll do absolutely nothing." And this time, they've said, "We're going to stop arms coming in unless you allowed aid into Gaza." And amazingly, that night, 100 trucks rolled straight into northern Gaza. So the Americans could do something, but they haven't.
Now, OK, there's obviously been a lot of activity going on at the UN surrounding the Middle East crisis.
Yes.
But did you see the president of Haiti making a speech there recently?
No.
Here it is.
OK.
Respect.
Maybe he's very small. We don't know.
This is the news that with just a few weeks to go till the US election, Donald Trump has turned to dance to get his message across, presumably thanks to his new campaign manager, Giovanni from Strictly. OK, fingers on buzzers, teams.
Oh, yes, the press have concocted a scandalous idea that a German man should not be managing the English football team, although nobody made a fuss when a Dutch woman managed the women's European team that won. So Thomas Tuchel has been made manager of the England football team, and some people are very angry about it because he's German.
But those same people don't seem to have any problem with the ancestry of our royal family, do they?
I mean, quite.
Yes.
You're right, the reaction to this hasn't exactly been warm.
When you say some people, who do you mean?
I mean...
Obviously, us football fans are pretty committed, but... I mean, Phil and I have talked about very little else. The only story I saw about this was Nigel Farage said it was a disgrace. So I knew where I stood.
Nigel Farage's wife is German.
His wife is German, coming over here, stealing our reform leaders.
How have the Germans reacted? Anyone know?
They're sort of pleased.
Well, German newspaper Bild said
Yes.
the motherland of football is getting a German dad. Of course, for many England fans, look, harping on about the Second World War is old hat.
Yeah.
As this tweet here proved. Tuchel, you're the one. Churchill bombed your mum. Football's coming home again.
I don't want to be a pedant, but it'd be grandmother, wouldn't it?
It would be grandmother, yes, absolutely. Churchill didn't actually bomb anybody.
No.
He was at home at 10 Downing Street, where he needed to be. He wasn't flying Lancasters across Germany.
No.
No, that would have been a strategic error.
Some other German news this week.
German news, yeah, great German news, yeah.
Do you know what upset opera goers in Stuttgart?
It's a crazy opera. It's a very controversial opera.
It is.
It's sexy and weird.
Oh, it is. People watching Sancta, this is at the Stuttgart Opera House,
Yes.
and they were treated to a performance including copious amounts of blood, live piercing, excrement, unsimulated sexual intercourse, and naked nuns on roller skates.
Were the roller skates necessary?
Being spanked by Jesus. Would you like to see what this looked like?
Yeah, I think we have to.
I think you do too.
Why has that woman got a barcode on her upper thigh?
What is unsimulated sexual intercourse?
They want to promise you this is real.
Yeah.
This is real.
8 shows a week. I'd go on the Monday matinee if I were you.
This is the news that the England men's football team now has a German manager. The new manager of England has described himself, amongst other things, as a German vegetarian. Oh, that's good. When was the last time a German vegetarian caused us any problems? OK, time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. Your four are...
Yes.
A Qantas flight from Sydney to Tokyo, Malcolm Kenyatta, the number plate TO25POT, and Judi Dench's parrot.
The number plate TO25.
Coming true. Cheers to us, a toast to we, kissing under every tree. Hearts are racing, beats align, futures whisper in.
5 POT could be regarded as tosspot. I would guess that Judi Dench's parrot probably swears. And on the flight, the Sydney to Tokyo flight, this was where they accidentally showed a rude movie. It was a night at the opera, apparently. So there's Kenyatta, what's his first name?
He's called Malcolm.
He was on Question Time.
Was he?
And he got some English slang wrong. They've all been rude apart from him.
Ian is basically right here. So it's that they have all been unexpectedly rude, apart from Democrat Malcolm Kenyatta, who tried to be rude and failed.
Oh, right.
So he was appearing on a US election special of Question Time, during which an audience member said the word bollocks, and trying to get in on the joke, Malcolm had a go, but he didn't quite get it right. Have a little listen to this.
And so this idea that we have not unleashed American energy is, to use the word twice on Question Time, bullocks.
It's bollocks.
Oh, bullocks. Okay. Take me to the next show.
He's made a bit of a cont of himself there, hasn't he?
Please continue.
Yeah. Professor.
Bow, please, Hannah.
Yes. That's right.
What does the parrot say?
The parrot, well, anyone want to guess?
Well, the Yorick skull must indicate that the parrot sort of misrepresents Shakespearean speeches by putting rude words into them.
It's a bit simpler than that.
Yeah.
Dame Judy revealed this week that her parrot once turned to her carer Barbara during a home visit and said, "You're a slag."
I was going to do a Polonius joke from Hamlet.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Why are you thanking them for that stunned silence?
It was appreciation, I felt.
see, yeah.
Why has the number plate TO25POT been banned?
Tosspot.
This is one of 250 number plates that are deemed too rude for the road by
Oh,
the
what?
DVLA.
Seriously?
Yeah.
If you're driving behind a car and it's got TO25 pot, are you so triggered by that? I mean, it's just nonsense, isn't it?
Tosspot.
Oh, well, I'm only making a point. I'm sorry that I didn't do maths.
All right, how did the passengers on that Qantas flight from Sydney to Tokyo get more than they bargained for?
They watched they saw a dirty film.
They
Yeah.
did. Do you know the story?
There's not much of a plot, to be honest. Pizza delivery man knocks at the door.
So the in-flight entertainment was broken on this plane. So passengers had to vote for a film to be shown on every screen on the plane. And according to The Guardian, the majority chose the sexually explicit 18-rated Daddy-O. According to The Guardian, one traveller said, "I have never seen 40 minutes of penis and boobs on a plane before." Obviously, they've never flown Ryanair from Luton to Magaluf. Time now for the missing words round, and we start with Elton John shocks red carpet by turning up what?
With a wife. And
No, this is Elton John shocks red carpet by turning up in a necklace made of his own kneecap.
oh,
Here he is.
I'm still standing.
Next, shock after what caught speeding in Germany?
Joseph Goebbels.
Skating
You weren't
nut.
expecting that in a topical news quiz.
Is it Eamon Holmes?
Roller skating nun.
Roller skating nun. It is shock after Cookie Monster caught speeding in Germany. The Cookie Monster was spotted speeding in Dortmund, Germany. Here he is.
Yeah.
That's a CCTV shot there from a camera, presumably on Sesame Strasse. Lastly, Queen Camilla thinks what is dreadfully common?
Charles.
It's using a fish knife is dreadfully common. Applying makeup in public is also frowned upon. According to one etiquette expert, grooming is a private thing until you get caught and end up on a desert island on Channel 5.
I noticed you chose the ITV presenter rather than the BBC one. Yes.
Plethora of people to choose from and altogether, isn't there?
There are. We could have gone any number of ways.
Yeah.
Hugh knows.
Have I got Hughes for you?
So, the final scores are Ian and Phil have 5 and Paul and Carol have 5.
Good to survive.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Phil Wang, Paul Merton and Carol Vorderman. And I leave you with news that on a delayed flight to Rome, there is polite applause for one passenger's rendition of Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again. As he scans the arrivals at a G8 summit in Washington, Joe Biden mutters, I hope that really boring guy from the UK isn't going to be here. And in Devon, one farmer reveals his unusual method for coring a pumpkin. Good night.
Have I got news for you? US has the stateside take on the presidential election. Press Red to watch now on iPlayer On Sounds, how social media is shaping the US election and influencing voters. Listen to Why Do You Hate Me?